Hi everyone, this video marks my first attempt at making an English program on my channel, as I'm excited to push myself out of my comfort zone. For the past 3 years, I've been teaching myself English, but haven't had many chances to converse with native speakers. That's why I've taken it upon myself to record this video to hone my spoken English. I'm still learning, so I welcome any feedback from you. Today, I wanted to share some of the traps I run into while teaching myself English so that you can avoid similar pitfalls. The number one is addicted to collecting learning materials but never actually learning. Have you ever experienced compulsively holding study materials? I certainly have. I used to love buying books, spending money on software, and purchasing various online courses. However, I never started learning because I always searched for the perfect resource. This led me into a vicious cycle of holding information. Eventually, I realized that learning materials are meant to be studied, not hoarded. You will inevitably acquire some proficiency by actively engaging with your learning materials. Conversely, no matter how much you accumulate, it will all be for naught if you fail to make the necessary effort to learn. So, I initiated English learning with the most basic method, memorizing vocabulary and studying grammar. Because of my weak foundation, I even started memorizing words at the elementary school level and learned the basics of grammar. It was a slow and gradual process, but through perseverance, I made it. While my method may have been less effective, my determination allowed me to build a strong foundation for my future studies. So if you are in a similar situation, don't waste more time looking for the perfect resource. You can stop holding study materials and take immediate action. Pick up whatever materials you have on hand and start learning, whether it's a book, an app, or online course. The most important thing is to start learning. Remember, whether you choose a simple or intelligent approach, the key is taking immediate action. As you start taking action, you will see results and you can continuously optimize your approach. The number two is the learning process should not be one size fits all. As I mentioned earlier, optimizing our learning process requires taking action. After dedicating to learning for a while, you will identify shortcomings necessary to improve. Then the targeted approach can be taken to adjust them with more effective learning methods. For example, when I had some basic knowledge of English, I found that doing grammar exercises was not only tedious but also did not have any beneficial impact on my listening and speaking skills. My shortcoming was my narrow-minded approach to language learning. I used to believe mastering vocabulary and grammar would automatically improve language proficiency. Later, I understood that I needed to practice all 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing to truly absorb and internalize the language. So I found the other ways to practice listening and speaking, like watching YouTube videos and imitating English daily. In addition, integrating my language learning with my interests and hobbies was a great way to make the process more enjoyable and effective. For example, I like playing video games, so I switched my game console to English and learned English while playing. Whenever I got stuck on a challenge level, I checked out English-speaking Facebook groups to see how others solved it. Similarly, I love reading. I challenge myself to read English books, starting with children's books and working my way up to more complex texts. If a book was too difficult to understand, I would first read it in Chinese, my native language, and then in English, building up my understanding of the story to help me comprehend the English version. Alternatively, I opened both the Chinese and English version, using WeChat to read the Chinese version and Kindle to download the English version, comparing and analyzing the logical structure of how ideas were presented in English. Reading is already my interest, so I only had to change the reading content to English. So learning wasn't dual. However, I understand not everyone enjoys reading or playing video games, and that's okay. Never push yourself to do that. The key is to identify your interests and find ways to integrate English learning into them. If you like watching movies, watch American TV shows. If you like traveling, going out more, meeting foreign friends, and communicating in English to improve your language skills. Finding ways to immerse yourself in a language through activities you enjoy so that English learning becomes a natural and enjoyable part of your daily life. To better immerse myself in the English-speaking environment, I also participate in conversations with foreign teachers on Cambly.
Yeah, for me, it's more important that I be happy with myself and lonely rather than be with someone and I'm happy.
I think that good relationships happens when you don't need someone to fill your life, to cure your lonely or something.
Yeah.
You need to be an independent person about your life, about your mental, psychologically ability. And when you don't need someone, you can happy with yourself and you can make other people happy too.
It's exactly that, 100%. I've got to the point where I'm like, if I find someone, I just want to know that they are amazing, friends, like a person. It's like the friendship that's so important to me.
It's not about their face or body. It's just you can talk to them about everything you experience, and the friendship is important. Yeah. And you also dancing and make music. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so the dancing, like a group, it's like a dance group. You take that big music speaker to the beach.
Is this kind of dancing paid or free?
Completely free.
Anyone can join you.
Anyone can join. It's free for any age. Doesn't matter of your ability. So we have disabled people who come, they're in wheelchairs, so they can't walk, but they just sit and go like this. A friend of mine started it. He suffers from some mental health problems. As a way to help himself, he just started dancing on his own. And he's like, wow, I think I can help other people too.
Wow, it's meaningful. It's really help people.
Yeah, it's fun.
To get over mental disability.
Yeah, I don't think it will cure people and fix them forever, but it definitely helps.
You can make them forget their anxiety for a while. When we help people, we have a good feeling in ourselves. Yeah. Cambly is a 24-hour platform for practicing spoken English, primarily through video conversations with foreigners. It's suitable for students with some basic knowledge of English to practice their speaking skills. Cambly offers a variety of foreign teachers, most of whom have years of teaching experience and are certified professionals. Even if you are not proficient in English, there is no need to be afraid. The teachers are highly professional and adapt to your English level. They won't mock or discourage you. The platform offers numerous courses on different topics like daily life, work, exams, and more. Recently, Cambly introduced small group classes. So if you don't want to study alone, you can try these group classes with 3 participants, where you can interact with English learners from all over the world. In addition to spoken English practice, the platform also has a replay feature for self-reflection. If you are interested, you can use my referral code for a trial, coinciding with Singles Day promotion. New users can enjoy a 30-minute trial session with foreign teachers for only 7.9 yuan. After completing the trial, you can also get an additional 15 minutes and 50% discount on annual packages. Number 3 is relying on Chinese mindset to express in English. I used to have a bad habit of looking at Chinese sentences and translating them into English because it seemed easier. But I soon realized that the English I came up with was very weird. English has a different logic from Chinese, which makes this English learning challenge. The sentence structure, tenses, and the other aspects are all different. To become proficient in English, you must abandon the habit of thinking in Chinese and translating into English. Instead, think directly in English. Even if you start with incorrect sentence structure or grammar, you can correct yourself after speaking or writing. Write down what you want to say in English, and then use translation software to check your work. Correct your mistakes and keep repeating the process until you master it. If you start thinking Chinese while learning English, you will always organize your sentences according to Chinese syntax, which sounds awkward in English. Another way to train yourself is to watch and listen to various materials in native English, such as observing how native speakers talk on Facebook and YouTube and comparing their sentences with your translations. Keep doing this until you develop an English mindset. Number 4 is fear of making mistakes. Not tolerating mistakes can also hinder our language learning progress. Learning the language is a process of constantly making and correcting mistakes. I used to be afraid of making mistakes when speaking, which caused me to hesitate and avoid speaking. Before each oral English class, I would struggle with the fear of being laughed at by the foreign teacher or audience if I made mistakes. However, no matter how much I tried to avoid mistakes, I still made them. For example, looking back at my early speaking videos, I can see that they were riddled with pronunciation and grammar errors. But that was the best I could do at that time, given my limited skills and experience. But the more I spoke, the more chances I had to be corrected, and I could speak more accurately. Therefore, I still posted that video to remind myself that I improved because I dared to speak, not because I spoke well. It's also important not to get too caught up in grammar rules. Demanding that every sentence should be perfectly grammatically correct can lead to unnecessary fuzziness. The truth is that even native speakers occasionally make grammar mistakes in daily conversation as we speak Chinese. We also simplify expressions when speaking, meaning that spoken and written English are not always the same. Trying to communicate in written English grammar can be stranger. And if you become overly preoccupied with grammar and pronunciation and constantly worrying about whether your words are correct, you may become even more hesitant to speak. The more reluctant you are, the less you will know where you are making mistakes, which might cause stagnation in your progress. Making mistakes is not a big deal. Mistakes can be learned from when corrected and served as memory aid. It's similar to how children learn language through imitation, expression, repetition, and correction. Number 5 is give up too early. The key is not to give up. Don't assume it must be easy just because someone else is good at learning the language. It's normal to make slow progress when learning a language. It can take years to become proficient. Think back to when we were learning to speak as children. It took years to become fluent in our native language. Learning a new language as an adult is like starting over from scratch, with everything being new and unfamiliar. Rushing through it will only hinder progress. I often receive messages from my audience asking me why they haven't had many progress in English after 3 months of studying, or can't remember vocabulary after months of memorizing. People seem to think that learning a language is easy and quick, but it's a slow process for me. 3 months, even half a year, is a short time. I remember when I started learning English on my own, I spent every day memorizing vocabulary and studying grammar. It was a tedious and painful stage, but once you master it and look back, you will realize it was worth it and feel a sense of accomplishment. So don't give up too early. Learning English isn't as easy as it may seem. I've been teaching myself English for over 3 years and still struggle with speaking. But with persistence and practice, I will get better. Learning a language isn't about how many hours you study daily. It's about whether you commit to studying every day. If you only study once a week for 5 hours, it won't be as effective as studying for 1 hour daily. You will make progress by committing to daily practice. Please do not give up too soon. Learning a language does not require talent, only patience and determination. That's all for today's video. See you next time. Bye.